Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are low to the mat, pushing or pressing into a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture. I'm going to be using a cupboard that we can use to load our practice. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, take a rest when you need to. For today's practice, as I mentioned to you, we are going to be pressing into the wall. I've got socks that I'm using, socks with little grips on the bottom, but you can play freestyle barefoot, or you can use socks to help glide and connect to the wall. Play as you're comfortable. We're going to find our way onto the back for the first set of exercises, bending our knees and connecting the soles of our feet to the wall. We are going to assume a narrowish leg stance. So you can either do feet and knees pressing flush against each other, or you can bring your feet and your knees just inside of hip width distance apart, whichever is the most comfortable for you. I'm going to do a flush knee and a flush foot line. Place one hand on your sternum and the other hand behind your head. To find our way into a modified chest lift, we're going to begin in a neutral pelvis and a neutral spine. You're going to keep that active press along the midline through the legs. You're going to scoop to peel up into a little chest lift, dropping down through the sternum as you curl your head and your shoulders off the mat. Then inhale to reconnect to the mat. Let's do 10 on side one. Once you've done 10 on one side, you're going to change hands, resting left hand on the sternum and right hand behind the head, coming back into 10 chest lifts. Once you've done 10 on either side, relax your arms heavy at your side. We're coming into a modified bridge. We're not articulating. It's going to be more of a fluid thrust up into a bridge and back down, pressing our hands actively into the mat and keeping our head and our shoulders grounded. Let's shoot for 10 repetitions. Keep that active squeeze along the midline. Squeeze those glutes at the height of your bridge. Once you've done 10 repetitions, we're going to come into some modified plank walkouts from our supine position. Beginning with that narrow leg line, you're going to think of starting to walk your feet up, bringing your bum and your hips up off the floor, coming into a full plank, pausing, and then slide walking your feet back to the mat, your feet back down so that you reconnect your bum to the mat. We're going to walk up and down 10 times. Taking a little pause once you've found your plank, squeezing your glutes, and then slide walking your way back down to your start line. Five more to go. Last one, and then we're going to find our way onto the side of the body. Rolling over onto one side. If your prop comes all the way to the floor, you can press both feet gently against the wall. Mine doesn't, so my feet are going to be floating on this round. And we're going to play with a little clam, opening and closing the top knee, keeping the 2 feet together. We're going to shoot for 10 repetitions. Once you've done 10, we're going to roll all the way over onto the second side to assume the same clam line on side 2. Shoot for 10 repetitions. Once you've done 10, you're going to flip over. We're going to find our way into a modified 4-point kneel with the back of our toes. So almost think that you're wearing high heels, pressing into your wall. Your knees and your feet can be flush along the midline, or you can give yourself a slightly wider stance with your feet and your knees just inside of hip width distance apart. We're going to assume a wider arm position, so hands maybe shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider, and we're going to keep belly to spine as we bend and extend through the arms for 10, keeping that active press of the backs of our feet into the wall. Let's do 6, 4, 2, last one. Drop down onto one elbow, float it in. We're coming into a modified fire hydrant. We're going to keep the backs of our toes loosely connected to the wall as we open up one knee to the side of the room and back. You can think of it as a fire hydrant or a half a clam. And we're going to shoot for 10 repetitions. Once you've done 10 on one side, you're going to change sides and repeat exactly the same clam or hydrant on the second side. Once you've done 10 on either side, you're going to flip over. You're going to find your way back to your original position on the mat, lying on your back, soles of the feet connected to the wall. We're assuming a narrow leg stance again, so either feet and knees flush along the midline, or maybe you're just inside of hip width distance apart. Tuck both hands behind your head this time. With an active squeeze along the knees and the ankles and an active push or press of your feet into the wall, we're going to come into a full chest lift for 10. Once you've done 10, relax the arms heavy at your side. Coming into our bridge thrusts again, but this time we'll add a little full clam line to it. So quick demo, you're going to keep your feet pressing into the wall as you thrust up into your bridge, and then rolling onto the sides of your feet, you're going to open up into a clam, and then squeeze back along the midline and bring everything back down to the mat. Let's shoot for 10 repetitions. We're halfway now, 5 more to go. Once you've done 10, you're going to bleed your way back down to the mat. And this time we'll come into a one-sided plank. You're going to keep one foot pushing or pressing into the wall, and the other leg, you're going to press into the heel. I've got little sticky pads on the bottom of my socks, so I just got to do this carefully. You're going to slide up into a one-legged plank and then come back down to your start position. We're going to shoot for 10. Once you've done 10 on one side, you're going to change sides. Just readjusting my sticky pads. All right, let's shoot for 10. If you've got a sock on, it's easy to slide up and down without your foot sweating and getting stuck to your wall or your prop. Once you've done 10 on either side, you're going to roll over onto your side. We're coming back into our clams. And we're going to add to it. So you're going to open up into the clam. Let's give myself a little bit of distance here. All right, clam. And then we'll do a kick and a reconnect. Let's shoot for 10. 9. 7. 5. 3. Last one. Then we're going to flip over and do exactly the same on the second side. Roll all the way over. Find your setup frame first. Feet maybe gently pressing into the wall. If your prop comes all the way down, you're going to clam and kick for 10. 8. 5 more to go. 'Keeping belly to spine throughout. Once you've done 10 on either side, you're going to close your clam and you're going to find your way into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat with your backs of your toes digging into or pressing or pushing into the wall again. We're coming back into that push-up and we're going to add a threading motion to it. So let's do one push-up. As you come back up, take your right arm up to the sky and then thread it underneath your left armpit. We're not threading on the floor. We're just doing a little tuck, more or less at elbow height, and then back to start. Let's shoot for 10 on the same side. So push-up and a thread. Push-up and a thread. Push-up and thread. We're at 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Then just to give the arms a mini rest, we'll drop down onto one forearm, coming back into our clam, and we'll add to the clam. So You're going to think of this as a hydrant or a clamp, keeping that active press of the back of your toes into your wall. You're going to open up into your hydrant. You're going to kick the leg away, reconnect to the wall, and come down. Let's shoot for 10. 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. Last one. All right. Find your way back into your modified 4-point kneel. We're going to do that little push-up with the thread. This time we're going to be threading with the left arm. So one push-up, and then take the left arm, float it up to the sky, thread it through, and then reconnect. We're going to shoot for a total of 10 little push-ups with a dynamic thread motion on the left. I'm going to call that 6, 4, 2. Drop down this time onto the left elbow. We're coming into our little hydrant open on the left and right, and then a kick. Once you've done your 10, you're going to flip over, find your way onto the back. So coming back to our original start position on the mat. But this time, as you come to, or as you arrive on the back and find your sit-up frame, you're going to give yourself more of a parallel leg line. So the feet and the knees are not flush along the midline. They're more or less hip-width distance apart. We're going to come into some chest lifts again, but this time we'll start with the arms overhead, back of the hands connected to the mat, and palms looking up to the sky. Find your active press or push of your feet into the wall and keep that push active. Begin in a neutral pelvis and a neutral spine. Scoop to peel up, reaching through your legs, and then come back to your start position. 10 chest lifts with a reach through. Pressing your feet into the wall. Remember this chest lift with a reach through. We're going to be using it in a combination just now. Relax your chest and your hands back down to the mat. Let's find 10 bridges from the parallel line, working that little thrust up and back down for 10. Once you've done 10, you're going to take a mini rest by floating your legs up to 90, keeping them floating and your hands heavy at your side. You're going to V the legs open and squeeze them back for 10. This will just be our dynamic rest before we come into a combination movement. Let's do 7, 5, 3, last one. Find your way back to your parallel setup, feet pressing into the wall. Float your hands overhead. We're going to combine the last two movement patterns together. So it's a chest lift with a reach through and a bridge. You're going to think of coming up into your bridge and then reaching the hands through, coming into a mini chest lift. And we're going to shoot for 10 repetitions. Find your way back to the mat. Arms are heavy at your side. We've still got that parallel press of our feet into the wall. And all we're going to do is use the whole sole of our foot to work a little tapping motion into the wall for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. All right, come back into 10 bridges with an active press into the wall. Once you've done 10, you're going to float the legs out to the 90 position. We're coming into those V leg lines again for 10. Nice little squeeze along the midline as you bring the 2 feet together. Then bend your knees, come back into your parallel leg line. We're going to combine the last 2 movement patterns together. So we're going to do 5 little taps and then a press up into a bridge. 5 little taps. So when I say 5 taps, 5 presses for a count of 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 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 bridge. 4 more to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bridge. 2 more sets to go. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here, we're going to float the legs to the 90 position, and you're going to find that V out and back in for 10. Then bend your knees, ground your feet, coming back into that same parallel stance. We're going to find that same tap. You're going to start your first 10 taps with your head and your shoulders on the mat. Then we're going to keep the tapping motion and we're going to scoop to bring the shoulders off, coming into a mini chest lift the whole time, keeping those feet going. So starting with the arms pressing into the floor, you're going to find your tap for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, keep the tap going, scoop to peel up, arms floating alongside for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Keep the scoop, press into your feet and work a slow 100, inhaling for 5 as you raise the arms up in line with the knee, exhale for 5 as you come back down. The whole time you're actively pressing with the soles of your feet into the mat. You're keeping the scoop or the chest lift once you found it, and you're playing with the slow 100, raising the arms up in line with your knees, and then back down. The breathing pattern is inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Three more to go. Last one. Reconnect to the mat. Float your legs out to 90 and find that V pattern for 10. With that nice little squeeze along the midline as the legs come back. Once you've done your 10, you're going to bend your knees, ground your feet. We're going to combine the 100 with that little foot tap. So I'm going to do a quick demo. You're going to begin in your same setup frame, finding your scoop position, and you're going to start to get your 100 going. So slow float up, slow float down. Once you've got that going, you're going to keep the arms going, you're going to keep the breathing pattern, but you're going to start to work a tapping motion with your feet. Last one. Float everything down, roll over onto one side. We're coming into, you can think of this as a side hydrant, and you're going to work a circling motion with the top knee for 10 in one direction. And then change it up and do 10 in the opposite direction. Then roll right over onto the second side to repeat the same, 10 in each direction. So once you've completed 10 in one direction, you're going to change it up and you're going to begin to trace 10 in the opposite direction. Then we're going to flip over, and instead of coming into a 4-point kneeling position, you're going to be coming into a prone position. So lying on the belly, but with instead of the back of your toes, you're now going to have the front of your toes softly pressing into your wall. You're going to bend your elbows, stack the hands one on top of the other. We're going to come into some modified cobra chest lifts from here with an active little press of your elbows into the floor as you bleed up into the chest lift. So we're beginning in a neutral position with our forehead connected to the back of our hands. Then you're going to find an imaginary marble underneath your nose, and the whole time that you're playing with the chest lift, I want you to actively press or push with the tops of your feet into the wall. You're going to bleed up into a chest lift, pressing into your elbows and back down for 10. Active press into the elbows so that you can feel your pecs. Let's do 5. Last one. Then relax your forehead to the back of your hands and let's play on the left side first. You're going to slide your foot up and down the wall, bringing your knee off the mat and giving me a little squeeze into your glute. We're going to do 10 on one side. Once you've done 10 on the first side, you're going to do 10 on the second side. All right. We're coming back into our cobra, and we will change it up this time. So bleeding up into the cobra chest lift, we're going to hold the chest lift. And then as you think of bringing your head back down to the mat, you're going to press into your elbows and you're going to give me a bum lift. And this is how we're going to play. For 10. Once you've done 10, you're going to bleed back down to the mat, reconnecting your forehead to the back of your hands. And this time we're going to do a slide of both feet up, bringing the knees off the mat. So you can think of it as a modified double leg lift. And we're going to shoot for 10 repetitions. Once you've done 10, we're going to come back into that little cobra with a bum lift. So you're going to peel up into your chest lift. And then as you drop the chest, you're going to lift the bum off the mat. You're going to lift your bum up, bringing your belly off the mat. And we're going to shoot for roughly 10 repetitions. So you can think of this as a cobra and then a little bow, if you like. Last one. Arriving on a prone position again. We're going to come back into those leg lifts and we'll do an alternating single, single, double, but we'll change the lead side every time. So quick demo, you're going to keep your forehead connected to the back of your hands. You're going to do a leg lift on the left and then on the right, and then you're going to double up. Then the next time you start, we'll begin right, single, single, double, then left, single, single, double. And all you're doing is sliding the tops of your feet along the wall to come into the leg lift. And you're going to shoot for roughly 10 repetitions, changing your lead side every time. Last one. As you complete the last one, you're going to roll over onto your back. And this time, as we arrive on the back, we're going to try to bring ourselves right up against the wall. So you're going to think bottom and legs right up against the wall, as if you were setting yourself up for Viparata Karani, legs up against the wall. So we're going to swoosh ourselves right up against the wall. And your arms can be relaxed at your side, or you can tuck them behind your head, whichever feels good for you. We're going to start with a narrow leg line, so feet and ankles squeezing together along the midline. And you're going to find a bend and an extend using your socks to slide your feet up and down on the wall. Bending and grounding on one side and sliding up on the other. Let's do 10. 8. 6. 3. 2. Last one. Bend the right leg, extend the left. Press into the wall with your right foot. Press into the ceiling with the sole of your left foot and hold for 10. Then come back into a sliding, alternating pattern. 3, 4, 6, 8. This time, right leg extended, left leg bent, hold. Press with both feet. So imagine you're pushing up the ceiling with your right foot and actively press into your left foot. Hold. Then extend both legs. Let's keep the bend on the left and let's keep the right leg extended. We're coming into a modified big toe position on the left. So you're going to slide the right leg out. Think of tracing a semicircle with your left leg, and you're going to do that 10 times. Once you've done 10 slides, you're going to hold in the open position, maybe using your left hand to gently try to bring that foot closer to the floor. Hold for 10. Then let's change sides. Let's bend an ankle on the right. Let's extend the left leg, and we're going to trace that semicircle for 10. We'll end in the open position, maybe using the left palm to gently press the left leg maybe a little bit closer to the floor. Then extend both legs towards the sky. We're going to open and close both legs together. Maybe placing our hands on the inside of the thighs and giving a little press every time we open out into V. We're going to end in the V line and we're going to hold. For 10, actively pressing with your palms and trying to open up those legs. Then bring the two legs flush along the midline. Do an active press of both soles for 10. And then let's do a last little bit of abs by doing a little toe reach, bringing your chest off the mat for 10. Last one. Hold. Float softly back down to the mat. Find your way into a modified butterfly. Thinking of bringing the soles of the feet together. Almost softly knife edging your press into the wall. Wrapping your hands around your ankles. Hugging your heels in towards your perineum. And just stopping here in a soft butterfly position, which is where we're going to end off our practice for today. We're going to hang out here for maybe 20 seconds. Hugging those heels in towards the perineum, soles of the feet together, feet knife-edged and pressing into the wall. When you're ready to come out, just gently roll onto your side and make your way up into a seat before you come to a stand. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed pushing yourself today. As always, until next time, keep it light.